Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Our Kings. Eddie Hearn, it's public workout day. How are we feeling, my friend?
Feeling fantastic. It's Wednesday of Fight Week. Now, you know what happened last Wednesday of Benn Eubank? It all came crumbling down. We take whatever God gives us, but I believe we're 3 days away from an all-time classic at Spurs, so be ready.
Look, yesterday, I found it quite interesting. Forget the fight for a minute, the dynamic between you and Mr. Shalom.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying he came out on top yesterday in your exchanges. What do you
No,
think?
There wasn't any exchanges, really. I don't know, like, it's just I don't mind Ben. We had a chat. He's a very strange geezer, but it was actually here. He just came up to me and started, like,
He gripped you?
Started dry humping me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what he was doing, but each to their own, mate. You know, it's a free world, isn't it? So I think that we get on all right. Like, you know, I don't think we're going to go out tonight for a bite to eat, but happy to do business with him, happy to do more business. He's I think we all tell a few porcupines. He's right up there on the porcupines. We had a funny exchange about Dave from the Gambling Commission. It was absolutely hilarious. But I like it. I think he's quite amusing. I think people like it. You know, I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Like,
he said to me in his interview, he says, you know what, so I said, what did you say on stage? Because you were sort of trying to dance and muck about a bit. He goes, I think he's very, very uncomfortable with me being around. So and he's like, he goes, you know, because I'm the young promoter now on the block.
Yeah.
He says,
yeah, he looked really comfortable up there. Yeah. It was good when I said to him, go on, dance, and he just started dancing. I know that I've got him on orders now. Yeah, exactly. So.
What have you done with this bet? Because he says trying to go around the houses about this bonus thing. Are you actually going to? Can't you have a little wager?
You speak to Robert Smith, the board, and the board confirms that he'll change the rules and licence holders can bet on fights. We'll do it. But he's just like I said to him, you're kind of going on a bit of a dead end. You said originally we can't do it. Then the board wrote to everyone saying no licence holder can bet on any form on a fight. So, like, you know...
If it was possible, you'd be down for that £1 million.
I mean, I'd probably, if I could bet, I might take the actual odds that are with the bookmakers, that is at better odds than an even money bet. But whatever, like, I don't, you know, I believe Conor's going to win the fight. But I think it was a nice bit of publicity for them at the start, but I think they kind of realised it's a bit boring now, but whatever, like, you know. I mean, he made some terrible meme about being on site.
I have to say that reel made me chuckle a little bit. You must like that a little bit.
You know that what I said was, it's never on site for me. It's on site for Conor. That's what I said. But yeah, it's all amusing. Like, you know, Ben quite fancies himself in the ring, you know. Like,
what do you mean?
As in, a bit of a tough guy.
Go on.
No, he sasays he'd batter me.
You fancy yourself in that?
Fucking just slightly. Make the fucking fight, will you?
Little misfits job.
Oh, no, we'll do it ourselves, eh?
Yeah, look, let's talk about both fighters' demeanours yesterday. Chris said what he had to say. Conor the same. What did you make of sort of how they both approached yesterday? They've come face to face for the first time since that last time, and we know what happened.
I don't think there'll be a lot said this week, you know, other than I think the weigh-in will be very lively. Don't forget, Chris Eubank's got to make weight. It's going to be a massive struggle for him, you know? So, as we've seen the last fight in Riyadh, he don't want to do a lot on fight week because he's got to make weight. Conor's eating, he's training again tonight. He's like feeling on top of the world. So, but come Saturday night in the ring, Conor will be a lot lighter than Chris Eubank Jr. But in these next couple of days, it won't be that pleasant for Chris.
I've seen a lot of predictions flying about. One of them that was interesting was Carl Froch. I think he was having a discussion. I can't remember who it was at the time. It might have been Caldwell. He was talking about what they both have done, and he says Conor so far has done nothing. And he compared the Algeria ring. He says Chris has been at the elite level. He's fought at that level. Might not always come out on top, but he's fought at that level. So, what do you understand where people come from? They say, what have they done? Chris has had that experience with a puncher like a George Groves and the higher echelon.
I think that Chris Eubank definitely has more experience than Conor Benn. Yeah, but also tell me his notable win.
De Gale.
Oh, come on. De Gale couldn't even stand up at that point in his career. That was quite sad for James, because James in his prime would have played with Eubank Jr. Oh, 100%. But Eubank's a tough guy. You've also got to remember, people like Carl Froch and George Groves sparred with and fought Eubank Jr. many, many moons ago. I mean, Carl is still really thinking about his spars with Eubank Jr., which, by the way, were very competitive, because Eubank was a good, strong, young kid with with absolutely zero fear. Now he's got money, now he knows the game, it ain't the same. And by the way, Carl Froch sparred with Chris Eubank Jr. 10 years ago. 10 years ago. When was the George Groves fight? 5 years ago? 4? I mean, a lot's happened, and he's been knocked spark out since then.
You believe Chris has lost a step?
Lost what?
Do you think Chris has lost a step? Is he declined? Has he declined as a fighter?
5 years old. He's 35 years old. He's been inactive. He just got knocked out by Liam Smith. Yeah, he's in absolutely no way the fighter that he once was. And he's not fearless anymore. He used to be fearless. He's a tough man, right? I'll give him his credit. He's got a great chin. But he got cleaned out, and he ain't the same fighter. His body's falling apart. They patch him up to get through camps. He's ready for the taking. It ain't going to be easy, but he's ready.
What makes you think he doesn't live the life? I reference you talking about his training. You said Conor does this. We know what Eubank does. Do you not believe that he's training?
He's never had a proper trainer, right? He's gone from camp to camp. He's always done what he wants to do. He's never had a proper training camp like Conor Benn. He doesn't listen. So I'm not saying he's not a dedicated guy, because he is dedicated, but nowhere near the levels of Conor Benn. Nowhere near the levels. He don't want it anymore. It's not like he'll want to win this fight because it's personal, but he ain't about boxing anymore. He's done. It's money, money, money. That's it. Give me my money and I'm done. I'm sailing off in the sunset. I'm over in Dubai. I'm living a great life. Cheerio. That's it. Conor's coming for legacy, for belts. He's just starting out his career in big fights. And those comments from from Carl Froch and people like that, correct. Chris has been in bigger fights against better opposition more consistently. He's 35 years old. He's got 6-7 years on Conor Benn. So of course that's the case.
I saw an interesting picture between Turki Alalshikh and Simon Jordan. The caption read, "We agreed on nothing." Yeah. What do you make of that? It's about right, isn't it?
Yeah, I heard. I didn't know that it was a competition that Simon entered to meet His Excellency. It was unbelievable. I think TalkSport ran it or something. They said, enter now to meet His Excellency, and Simon Jordan come out of the hat. Amazing, but it's good.
Simon, I saw those comments with Paul Smith, and they were talking about the event. Your clip got played when you said, "Look, it's been referenced as a circus. This is two world level athletes." Simon then responded by saying, "Well, that's what he does. Snake oil. He's a salesman." Are you still baffled by these comments? And do you think will Simon come into this TalkSport or here?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Conor Benn's ranked with all the governing bodies at 147, or most of them. Top 5 with some. What are you saying? He's not a top 15 welterweight. Chris Eubank's in the top 15 in the middleweight world rank. Are you saying he's not a top 15 middleweight? Simon Jordan knows. See how much Simon Jordan knows about boxing, right? About as much as I do about being a disc jockey. That is, and that's it. He knows nothing about boxing. He just picked it up a couple of years ago because he thought it was a nice little niche for him to stay in a job. That's it. So all this, this personal snake oil salesman, this and that. The geezer is an absolute plum. End of.
Is he coming to this fight at the weekend?
Of course he'll be begging for a ticket. But the circus that he don't want to be at. Oh, he won't. No, he ain't coming to this. He'll be outside with a placard. This is the circus. No, he won't. He'll be poncing a front row ticket or trying to.
Got to ask you. I know everyone's done it to death on the Shakur Stevenson thing. I want to know where's it come from, because Dan Raphael's normally I would say a reasonable source.
I saw it from another guy, Rick Glazer. I spoke to Lou DiBella. He said no, not agreed anything. I told him, and by the way, we have a 2-fight deal with Shakur Stevenson, and he said no, absolutely fine. So spoke to His Excellency yesterday. After there's a pay-to fight, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I would hope we keep him, but if not. But it's a 2-fight deal.
Have you messaged Shakur and said, look, what's he said?
No, I just spoke to him and the team and His Excellency. We're all meeting next week in New York. All good.
Does that concern you when you see reports like this? It's come from somewhere. It's not just someone throwing smoke in there. It must no smoke without fire, and you want to keep him.
Yeah, but look, the issue is the money's changed from the proposed money from the fighters. So, whether he's unhappy with someone or whoever it is, but we'll meet face to face in New York next week. I mean, when you say it's come from someone, it's a dirty old fucking game, mate. I read bollocks on social media every single day, and it's designed to try and affect people, mess up their mental, stop them in their tracks, have an agenda against them. That's the world we live in. So, and when you're at the top, you get that more than ever. So we saw, was it Ben Whittaker on Sunday? He's a perfect example, breaking down crime because of the stick he got online. That was designed to just, try and stop him in his tracks.
I want to ask you about next week. I know you're going to be there. I saw the sort of round table they did with all the main characters.
Yeah.
Tio's playing a blinder in the build-up to this, by the way. What do you make of sort of the narratives and the bit parts in that? Big night for everyone.
I think it's a really great, it's a great night of boxing, and it's three of really the top young talents in the sport. Devin, Ryan, and Teofimo, and their opponents as well, great fighters. And yeah, Tio's, I've become quite fond of Tio. I think he's quite amusing. And there's another side to him. Like, I actually pulled him to one side in, might be Riyadh or, can't remember. And I said to him, why are you always talking shit about me? Like, he says that I was the reason he lost against Cambosos. Like, if it was a top ranked show, he would have won. I'm like, what planet do you live on? And I didn't have a go at him, but I was a bit like, and he was like, nah, man, no. I thought, and then I actually watched him at work in New York, playing the media and everything, and I think he's a good character. I think he's good for the sport. Great fighter, but in a very tough fight next week.
Just one more for me. There's another proposed card as well set for the States. Edgar Berlanga and Shiraz. What do you make of that sort of setup and now that's all come out? Thoughts from the outside looking
It's
in?
a good fight for Edgar. I think it's a bad fight for Hamza Shiraz. Moving up to super middleweight for the first time. Edgar's a big super middleweight and he can really punch. And he'll win that fight, But look, Hamza's rolling the dice. Shakur against Zepeda. Morel, Puello against Matias, really good fight as well. Another great night.
Puello and Dalton Smith?
Yeah, we got the winner. The winner of Puello against Matias has to fight Dalton Smith next.
Eddie, appreciate it. Thank you.